right, let's get some positive news.
Despite the dire predictions for 2024. Never before do I remember such dire predictions about where we are headed in the coming year as we're seeing these days. All over the internet, we find remarkably grim headlines in both the mainstream and the alternative media, as well as in videos by channels and psychics. We read such headlines as, "Are you ready for the end of the world?"
Yes.
Worldwide financial crash in 2024.
Boom.
World
Great
War
reset.
III is
Earth
inevitable.
dollar.
Preparing for
15-minute
W.
cities.
With China.
Really?
AI is taking over the world.
We like
etc.
Chairman Z.
Some people are
He went to
freaking out.
Iowa.
Others are checking
The
out with
CCP's
drugs.
gonna pop like a
Still
bubble.
others
Three
are either
Gorges
totally
Dam is
unaware
going
of all that's going on,
down.
or are willfully ignoring it all and pretending of things different from ever
Trump
before.
doesn't like
A
China.
new humanity is being born. And then, there are those of us who are doing our best to keep up with what is apparently going on in the world, and yet not giving in to despair, rage, or fear about it all.
That's right.
Somehow, we know that yes, this is the end of the world,
That's
but
right.
not how many others envision
Donald
this.
Trump was born to
We
be a
have
product
knowing
of and bring
inside
destruction
that
to
world
the
as we know
systems
it
of the
is
world.
dying for sure. But it
Here's
is not
Augustus
the end
Caesar.
of
I've said it
humanity.
before.
In fact, we're aware that, somehow miraculously, a new humanity is actually being born during these tumultuous days in which the old third-dimensional world is dying.
Man,
People
Coke
are
back in
waking up
Coke.
like
I
never
can't
before
wait.
to the dark corruption in our and to the
You don't
small
need to
elite
snort
group
it. You
that
can
controls these
freaking munch on it.
and continues to create after across the globe. Increasing numbers of us are clearly seeing how the ideas of division
Imagine a
and hatred
cocoa
are being pushed through the media and social
cannabis
media outlets,
concoction.
and we are no longer
Woo!
letting ourselves be drawn into that
can't
consciousness. We are aware of the lies that constantly assail us from every direction and are no longer believing them. And when we can't, we are protesting, pushing back against all of it. Or we are turning our backs on the broken
Protesting?
down
What,
remnants
the
of
Fed?
society and creating
Protest
our own
means don't pay any
communities
more
in which we
tax,
are
don't
learning
pay
how to
'em.
live, focusing on love, respect,
Stop paying
and
the Fed.
cooperation. A new earth is being born. Perhaps, most importantly, there are more and more of us these days who know about the momentous shift the planet Earth is going to be making in the near future into
There's
what
5
has been called
types
the
of
fifth
souls.
dimension. Countless
Most
blogs
are
and
gonna
videos
die,
are now
the purposeful
proliferating
ones that
online
came
about
here
the
to tell
new
you
Earth
something,
that
and
is
then they
coming into
died.
being.
We
As the
all
planet
die,
moves
but
ever
we're
more
not.
deeply into the part of the cosmos
If you choose
that
not to
emanates
die,
very
you have
high
to do the
frequency
right
waves of
things.
light. They explain that the old Earth has to collapse and die because this higher frequency 5D Earth is
5D?
being birthed. As improbable as this may seem to many
The
people,
fifth dimension.
those of us who are aware of this phenomenon simply
Angels
know the
are
reality
ET.
of it in our bones.
Many are human.
These are the times we were born for. This coming year and beyond are the times
Where
we
were
are
you
here
before
to
you were
not
born?
only live through, but
Do you
also
believe in
begin creating the new
reincarnation?
Earth in any way we are
That means
guided
born
to.
again.
Spiritual awakening.
Perhaps you don't.
So,
Perhaps you
although
haven't
all that
thought
is occurring
about
in
it
the world
because
at this point
you're too
is
busy.
terrifying in countless ways, we continue on, optimistic
And you
and
couldn't
determined
give
to
a
keep
fuck.
going. We can do this because we are also awakening spiritually on a personal level in ever more profound ways, not just to the reality of what's happening in the world, which is essential, but also to the awareness of ourselves as multidimensional beings of light. And we're noticing that we are now beginning to have experiences of what could be called 5D consciousness. We are dipping in and out of this higher frequency.
I wonder where he goes all day.
There's only one way to find out.
Consciousness. We are dipping in and out of this higher frequency, experiencing a love more profound than we've ever experienced before. Despite all that's occurring,
Take a good look. Thousands of years from now, we did this. We ate meat and we ate McRibs with people in them.
and deep peace can suddenly embrace us.
You're homeless.
Even while we are
Those
experiencing profound
non-taxpayers
loss
went
and
down.
confusing changes in our
On
lives.
hooks, blood
It is this
drain,
new higher frequency
epidural
consciousness
compressed,
we focus
your
on that
McRib.
keeps us sane and keeps us going through whatever is
Mr.
next.
Maroni, huh?
And it is what will
You thought
continue
you
to
were
keep us
gonna make
optimistic
it.
as we are swept
Then
into
you
the
quit
coming
your
year
job, you
with
got
all its
laid off,
tumultuous
and you didn't even
astrological
drink and get it.
configurations and
The
worldwide
booze. You
situations
woke
that
up,
promise
you went back to
enormous
sleep,
change and collapse on many
and you
levels.
went to the Bowery.
By Vidya Frazier,
Somewhere
next
near
message will bring to
Chinatown.
change. Blessed be,
Lord,
change is a symptom of choice. It is a consequence of empowerment.
You
Change is the effect of your cause.
Chinese built the
You are
railroads
changed by
in
life.
the
For
West.
time does not stop.
The Irish did
Life
it in the
is changed
East.
by you. For you
And
are
by
part
God,
of life.
the
Opening
OSS
awareness,
jumped in to help
the
them.
interwoven thread of consciousness
Did you know
is an
Wild
engine
Bill
of creativity
Donovan,
that supports itself.
a man called
Choice,
Intrepid?
then, is your
There's
communication
Jupiter.
with the vastness
We're going
of
to look
life
like that
is received and responded
because
to.
Jared
You
Kushner
do not see
is
this
either
engine,
going to fess
for its
up
enormity is
or
beyond the
peter
spectrum
out.
of your perception.
Mr.
However, the
RFID
effect of the
666.
entirety
There
of
he
life
goes
is
with
visible to you
Nibiru.
through cause.
Woo! Ozzy
However,
sang
you
about
must
it.
choose to see the whole story. The courage to look within the shadows
And
of the
Jupiter
self
has like
illuminates
if you
your
look at
wisdom
it, it's
in a
got this
flurry of
eye.
neural understanding. You become the
It was the
stability of the
third
neutron
star
that allows
before
creation to
the
form
planet
with greater
Jupiter.
ease.
Total eclipse of the
Life
sun.
itself is so
Boom.
neutral
And
that it
Regulus
is
in the back.
unconditional in the purest
Days
sense.
lasted for
There is no
days,
judgment
Jimmy.
of right or wrong, merely
Excuse
life
me
continuing.
while I
For
kiss
within
the
that
sky.
neutrality is such a
He was a
complete
lefty.
knowing of love, the
Jimmy
binding
was a
force
Mason.
of life,
He was in the
that life
101st.
freely
He
gives to
didn't
stability
dodge
and
nobody's
instability
draft.
alike. It
He
all
went in,
leads to the
he played
expansion
like
of love.
Elvis in the army.
Eventually, time
Elvis
does
went
not
to
stop.
Deutschland.
It is its nature.
Jimmy went to
You are part of
the
the engine of
101st in
life,
Vietnam.
though
I
a
don't
form of
know
it
where
that has
he
conditions.
said, but he made it home by
Changing
Woodstock.
conditions. The condition of time is that it does not stop flowing in this dimensional expression. The condition of your physical body is that it requires physical chemicals, especially those as invisible to you as oxygen, for your vitality.
Listen,
The
we
condition
are
of
a
the
triad.
emotional body is that
Nitrogen,
it requires flow for your healthy interaction. The condition
carbon,
of the mental body is that it requires internal strength and focus for your creativity. The condition of the
hydrogen.
human experience is that it requires a balance
That's
of
what's at the
duality,
base.
self and all
Then,
others, inner and outer,
just
right
outside
and
is
wrong.
oxygen.
This balance, the neutrality
Driving
to
your
honor it all, leads to your expansion, your growth,
epigenetics.
your elevation into a new level of connection and interaction.
We've
As you
broken out
become
of 2
more
strands,
unconditional
Pete. We're
with your change,
616.
you will
Drink
find
water.
life to be easier. You will find being easier.
You see,
This is
Jupiter
not to say that
conjoined
all
with
that you will
Neptune and
experience
Aquarius,
will be
and
easy. It is a
Alexander
reflection of
Quinn
your
told you
empowerment
about it.
to
He's an
progress
astrologist,
with the
and he's a
flow
young
of life.
Arcturian
The
starseed.
continual motion of
He
evolution.
speaks with people
As you
of
open to
war.
change, you are stabilizing your own experience of life. Be
Linda
well
Good
with
McGillis.
what is, for it is life's loving response
Is she an
to your
old soul
quest
or is
for
she
the beauty
purposeful?
of truth. Look within the
Will
self
Linda be
and
with
find
the
the truth of
collective?
your
Linda
beauty.
Good McGillis,
Life will
9/11,
respond
dear
with the
girl. You can
reflection
look through
of the
12
beauty
streams
of
all
all
day
others.
and talk.
Enjoy the
Come
process
with
of
us,
life,
please.
for it
Tighten
is
up.
an engine of response and continuance
Start
that will
doing
show you
pull-ups,
the effect of
push-ups,
love
and
if you
running.
cause it.
Talk
Love the
is cheap.
self, and it will reflect into life around you.
I don't care
Others
who
will
you are.
learn
Get
by
up out of your
observance.
wheelchair. Bust
It
the
is the beauty
pacemaker.
of
Get
a
it
free
over with.
mind,
Get the hell
the
out. If
ability
you're
to
going to
discern
die,
for
die
self
and get
and
it over
choose.
with.
Give that
What are you
gift to
doing with
yourself
your
and
cancer
life.
treatments
It
and
is
your
the
shit
true
that make you
change.
miserable, and
As
then
we
you're
sit
going to
to
die
glass
not
opening
talking
the
to
change,
anybody?
we are bold
Oh, the
enough to choose
phases,
for the
oh,
self
the
as
moaning,
we observe the
oh.
win/win solution that life's potential is
And then it's
nurturing
over.
until we are ready.
My God, and
We
then
are
they
becoming
burn you,
empowered
or
enough to
the
choose to
bugs
cause
eat
change
the
in
body
this world.
at the corpse.
Even
So
in
get
the
ready
midst
for
of
that,
challenge,
viewer.
we are unconditionally
You'll do it
loving the
again,
challenges,
unless you stay
for they
here.
are the experience of progress for me.
Quinine.
We are
Yoo-hoo.
peaceful with the flow of
Roosevelt
time,
drank gin.
allowing its
Why did the
revealing
children
to
in the
offer new
Philippines
solution
die of
previously
dengue poisoning
unknown.
when that man
We are
drank
the
gin
bearers of light,
goddamn 100
the
years ago?
creative hope
Plus,
that carries humanity when chaos consumes their courage.
what about
We
the
are the
coincidence
truth
of
of
the
power.
Carrington effect?
Love never lost, only waiting
The
the
guy was
treasure
staring at
seeker
the
to find it
freaking
within.
Kodak film and went,
Blast
"Meep,"
on.
and he went,
By
what was
Jemai
that?
Price.
I've observed
Attention.
that, and
The
boom,
government
shit
could
went
sue me to pay
down.
you $1,000 a month. No matter how much money you make
Look.
or what you do for a living.
Look,
It's all
you can
thanks to
tweedle it.
what just
You can
happened
tell me a
inside
bunch
this
of
building you
shit,
see
and
behind
you're
me.
a freaking
This government
babbling
handout is called-
boozer. There he is. Benny. The man who facilitated the low and... Now, what's going on with my machine? Oh. It appears it ended. Now, I'm going to make a quick conclusion. That was Black Eyed Presents. I'd just like to remind you that on a sunny day, you're permitted to stare at the sun. You won't go blind. Don't do it in front of a telescope, because then you will. But if you just stare at it, and you're driving a Subaru, well, you better keep your eye on the road, because it'll beep at you. But if you got cruise control, I mean, hell, just know what there's a vehicle in front of you, and then look, and look back, and say, I'm not handicapped. I feel blind for a second, but then I'm not. You stare at that sun. We got a relationship with planets, and our sun is number one, and there are several central suns. Do you know there's a Sirius C that ascended into Gamma already? It's way back there. Dolores Cannon must have known. You know, she's not even in the circle of coaches of the Sophia Code. It's all these Syrians and Venetians and Pleiadians. And of course, Tara from Sirius C. Read books by Dolores Cannon, because she did interview a woman who somnambulistically regressed back to be Sudi, teacher of John the Baptist and Yeshua ben Joseph for their Bas Mitzvah. And as one regressed to being a 12-year-old boy, his father said, pay attention, he's coming. This Essenes knew. So Mary and Joseph had busted out of Carmel to avoid the census and get down to Qumran. Elizabeth's husband was murdered at the altar. John's father. So he was fatherless real early on because his father refused to tell him where he was. So Elizabeth, after the birth of the two, they went down to Egypt and studied with Elihu and Salome. And man, did those two ladies and Joseph learn something with the two infants just hanging around saying, oh, one of us will be back. John took the beheading because a woman wanted him. She wanted his head. And he was a good-looking red-headed man, and he wanted to bring it. And he knew what he was doing because he had been taught well by a man named Atheno. You see, John the Baptist dwelled in David's cave until he came out. Then he was put in the hands of Hillel for a little while, and Mary delighted, and Elizabeth passed away. And John started to cry, and Atheno said, come on, you can't cry because nobody dies. What? Yes. And there's a thing called a bath, a baptism. What? I know you've never drank any wine, and you've been isolated for a long time, but people bathe. Really? Yes. I'd like one now. Okay, let's go. And they went to the Jordan, or a river, or some water. And that was all before he linked up with Yeshua to be Bas Mitzvah. And then Joseph of Arimathea took him around. Oh, he was in the, he had the cover. Joseph of Arimathea ran the Navy. He had the badges. He got the tin, he got the gold, he got what they needed for Rome. So he bore some alchemy. And his family was complaining about it. And I said on the Dolores Cannon official board, I said, come on. You got to take a hit for the man. We all had to take a hit for the man somewhere along the way. Before or after, you might have taken the guillotine, laughing at it. I did the backflip. I saw it. I was facing myself, laughing. I had taken the guillotine. I must have talked to the executioner about the perfect shot. Whoop! Away I went. Boom! On the float. They thought it was so funny. those blockheads in masks. And you know him from the bowling league. Hey, Jerry. He's a Mason behind the thing, and he's totally corrupted, and you didn't know it. Jerry, look, you taking a shot at me? I know I took line B. I catch up to you. That guardsman online said, please, sir, don't do it. You know what they're doing in there? Smell the blood. It might have been Camp Landing. It might have been Camp Landing. Swept in from Live Oak. And the Circle K little birds that dropped them. What a travesty. The Nazis never forget. Search, silence, segregate. Shut them up and speed them to the rear. That was silence. Safeguard. Safeguard. Safeguard them to the rear. Right, those sunken U-boats. Rommel's men got moved to Camp Landing, and the remnants were still there. And then the base was put on like the reuse list. See, they transformed all these bases. You might risk shopping at Walmart. You know, they shop with cops at Walmart. They park the Batmobiles there, and you better know how to talk to them and have your seatbelt buckled when you're in that parking lot. Because your fucking car will beep at you. So what you do is you buckle it behind your ass. If you got a big fat ass, well, go ahead and buckle up. What the fuck? But, you know, if you get some room to play around, you buckle it behind you. Because you look semi-buckled, you ain't lying. You wave to the cop, he ain't looking at no seatbelt. He's looking at the other shit that you can't process fast enough. And if he comes near your car, you say it's belted. What's your badge number? I don't want it beeping at me. What do you mean I need a ticket? The bikers got no helmets, and they got no insurance, and they got no seatbelts. So why are you coming near my car? Is the registration up to date? What's your badge number? High Impact Fix wants to know it. Then he wants to tell it to the big man. I don't know how that debate went. I did a video on it. Because High Impact Fix was going to debate my man, my big man. What the hell's his name? It's not Noah. That might be his kid. The comedian. The big man. I'll get his name. It's coming to me. Help me out, team. Owen Benjamin. He was really big on Gab.com. He was like a #1 guy every day. Gab.com. Freedom. Post it. Don't be naked. They'll put it on. If the cops come get you because you posted a porn video on Gab, they're not going to defend you. Because they're free. You fucking did something stupid. You see, I've got a lifetime subscription to Gab TV. Ah! Do you know what that means? Has it dawned on you yet what that means? To the owner of Gab? Come on. Pennsylvania. They got that senator right now. That fucking crazy guy went from Democrat to Republican. I forget his name. The Quakers, the Mennonites. I mean, my God, they got a violin school up there, some music school where all the kids go for summer camp. Up there. Very conservative. But you know, those kids were smart. You take a look at the test that the kid took in like 1912. You couldn't pass it. You need your fucking calculator. They were doing. They had to walk both ways. And that school mom was ready to whip some ass. Learn that poem. Miss Crabtree. You know, there was Dickie. He was a rich kid. He had a stiff neck. He was stuck. He was rich. He had a friend named Stymie, black guy. He rode a carriage with a mule, taking people for rides. So Dickie's parents went out. Stymie came over, they hooked up. Stymie said, "You need some, take a ride." Dickie said, "Okay, let's go." He went out into the thing. Well, the damn mule drank up some alcohol. I guess they had the stuff there to wash their feet or whatever they did with the animals. But damn, that thing mouthed it. Rip, 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 rip. He was drunk. Started hiccuping and shit. So they got back out there and hooked up the damn animal, and away they went. And that thing went crazy. And then they went freewheeling without the mule. And they knocked over some fidgets that were in the road. Because the machine had doors that came out and schwacked them. And Dickie was having fun. I can't move. So eventually the brace came off, and give it a twist, and he could move his neck. So they had a great ride. Dickie's neck was cured. Stymie did it with a twist. I'll be damned, he knocked all that shit down, and they slowed down and came to a stop. And the ride ended. And his parents showed up and said, "Boo-hoo!" And he said, "Stymie did it." He said, "I just give it a twist." Man, Stymie. How about them little rascals? And Spanky. Hello. Hello, this is Mr. Somebody from the First National Bank. Who's this? It's Mr. Somebody from the First National Bank. That's what you just told me. Very quick. That particular episode. Holy shit. They ended with, it's a bunch of orphans. And they've been eating mush their whole life, so then they hit the jackpot somehow. The lady with the bonds and all that shit, so they were rich. And then the old butler, you know, they serve it up. They got the silver things, and they open it up, and it's mush. It's porridge. So the guy says he's a you know, uppity. Porridge, mush. All the children have mush. Man, they nailed him with it. The poor man. He was so excited to serve porridge, and he got belted because the orphans were eating mush. What do you know about orphan children? You don't want to know. It starts with the Romanians that bobble in the bed because they're not touched. They bobble if they're not touched by another human. And I can only draw one comparison. William Gates, right as Netscape was hit and he was being grilled, the two-digit midget had had enough. He was bobbling in the chair. And the congressman that knows the answers to the questions was just grilling them. And the poor beanhead, nerd, stupid two-digit midget couldn't answer the question about what's going to happen to Windows in my 2 digits. I need help. I need to fall asleep and get a soul swap right through Y2K. Wake up, is Billy Gates. Whoa! I need a wife. Goodbye, Microsoft life. To Africa we go. With Kevin Kline. Bill Gates got the Medal of Freedom from Barack, Columbus, Pettivore, Epstein, Maxwell, Biden. They're all in it together. Joe's got to quit eating meat. Joe's got, you know, it's Genghis Khan. He's not going to ask for forgiveness. He forgives himself. So forgive him. Look, let's do it this way. You got to leave Chairman Z alone. He's big. He's going to beat a 500-pound gorilla in the ring on a tag team. So let's just let him watch. Because Putin doesn't really need him. So now you got Trump, and it's a one, there ain't no coming back now. We're done after this. We've come to this. It's on CCTV. On planet. On planet. None of this Mars bullshit. We want it at, we could do it at the garden. But let's fucking do it at someplace huge. Sebring's fucked up because it's all flat. They got high school bleachers. That would be a pretty good place to do it. You got to go to a big fucking place where you can put spotlights on them and shit. I'm thinking West Coast. What do you guys think? Where would the Titan battle of all time? Oh, it's got to be Vegas. We have to do it in Vegas. The Philippines? In China itself? Nah. You know, when the boxers go east, they get, Tyson got all, he lost. Don King had him. So let's bring it back to America. Let's do it at, by God, let's do it at the Indy 500 Speedway. Oh, fucking, we'll have there's plenty of room at the you can relay it out. Now, waterboarding isn't torture. If anybody doesn't want to play, we'll fucking fix them. Because we're going to do this. Maybe. Yeshua's in charge. I'm just a knight. But you put these two against each other in the ring. Observed. Properly. No. The old MMA, they had to outlaw some of the rules. So you got a little bit of Gracie. You got Shamrock. You got Best of Breed. You got Joey. He's Genghis Khan. He intentionally did what he did to be where he is now. Be a soul swap. They do them. Have you had one? Maybe not. Maybe you still vote. That's an indicator. Maybe you think you vote. You think you vote. Maybe you listen to the radio and you know the song that comes on by 3 tunes and you say, I should be on that fucking show. Because I knew it. Even though it was so long ago, it froze me back to some incident. Well, town of Oyster Bay is a place. But let's get back to the fight. I think we picked our place. Not the Kentucky Derby. We need the 500. Or Daytona. That's a thought. Because it's close to landing. Okay, we gotta have some kind of position on this. Indy or Daytona? Because we need to observe it. We need purchase, see the fight live if you want to come. It's gonna be classic. Mike Tyson can do commentary. It's the smartest commentary I ever saw on a boxer. Jimmy Carter, they can pipe him in from his resting point. He'll have an opinion. You know who the first person was to call Jimmy Carter when he was the winner? Joseph Patrick Biden. He was a plagiarist. Did you ever copy any shit to get through school? Well, apparently Obama forgave him. And he's back. Joseph Patrick left. He's up on the labyrinth of Mars right now. They exchanged 1 for 1. It's only 3 light minutes away. It was an easy swap. Before the prisoner exchange, Joseph Biden is Genghis Khan. Accept it. Accept reincarnation. And by the way, it's over. So if your child is born after April 2021, wait till he speaks. Do not sit him on a lap. Don't be ignorant. Don't feed them meat. Now back to the fight. You got Trump. Well, Jim McMahon's under indictment. Trump's under indictment. But we're going to waive all that for this fight. It's got to be in a licensed place. Vegas, Florida, DeSantis, He's back. Okay, Adam Putman can be in there too. He was the gun guy. Why wasn't he the fucking governor, people? He was the youngest congressman elected from up in Pasco. He went up. He freaking was a Cub Scout dad. He missed Obama's shit. He was the gun guy. He was the director of agriculture in Mr. Green Jeans state. He was Mr. Green Jeans. And he's a great man. Told me on the elevator. Ain't got time for that. My son had a Cub Scout meeting. Whoa. And that airport is organized very well. They had Sam Adams and Nathan's Hot Dogs right there at the fucking exit on U.S. Airway or Scattle-Padaddle, wherever it was going. You hope you were going out on that side so you could chow down and get your flight ready. Tampa's very well organized. The rings. The rings of U.S. SOCOM. And a man named Peter who drove you through IEDs. Say it like you mean it. With the King of the Dark Sun and his son. I don't know, Gog and Magog. Oh my God. But Junior, the Dunce, is still with us. See, there's a difference. Senior's dead. Enlil handed it to Trump. It went from Aldebaran to Mars. So with that said, you got Trump from Mars and you got Genghis Khan from Mars. One had the labyrinth and all the logistics, since he passed from his empire in Mongolia. Tightened things up, stood there at the Martin Luther King Day ritual. They sang to him. He couldn't believe it. He was quite well. They were singing. And man, when all the African Americans exited, there was Uncle Sam pointing right at him. How many of them knew? You think Maxine Walters knew? Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters. In Peach 45. Well, if you were wise, you used Maxine Waters to get where you needed to go. You hosted as an exchange at Fort Benning the leader of Egypt. You were a prior serviceman who went to Hofstra. Every bit. And you're married, and you're in Maryland. You play pool. You got ancestors that knew how to fence. His name is Phillips. Person named Frank. Met with him right after QHHT Live and we sized things up and he did what he needed to do. And I told him the truth. I always tell the truth. Imagine, he happened to be there, coming down and doing a meeting, doing his defense stuff. Whippity whippito, DOD, disabled, vet-owned, African-American. Write a ticket, use Maxine Waters. See, she's talking reparations. You know, Frank will roll with it. He knows personally the guy who was the big old chairman of the terminal, and Frank was sending out regards, man. Help him. Help him. He's Biden's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. By God, help him. So back to Biden and Trump in the ring. Come on. Come on. The real Donald. The real one. The real one. What's he gonna do? No, there's no clubs. It's only, you know, if he wants clubs or bare knuckle kicking, Trump can make the rules. You know, shit. Andrew Dice Clay can be an observer. Maybe something will fall out. You can bring Derek Bros up from Mexico. He's busy though, torturing a beautiful woman to death. Cash out. $20. $20. He's on Twitter. So back to the ring. Biden takes that one. So you won round 8. Now, the hemispheres are... He's now got the hemisphere. Yep. Because Trump's out. And it was legal. Maybe he got out of breath. Maybe he quit. Maybe he Roberto Durand said, no mas. Come on, Trump. You're talking about a lap around the ship. He can't hang with Joey. Joey's tight. Joey's got FEMA in the background. He'll be protected at the meeting. Trump ain't got nothing. What's he gonna have? Dan Bongino as his personal guy? It's about where Dan's at. Dan Bongino don't know what the hell's going on. He's scared. Which border? I'm SS. I'm on Twitter saying Biden's the worst president ever. And all you people say he's not my president. Well, you know. Right and wrong. Yes and no. You know, when people answer you, they go, yes and no. Hypnotism. Lack of clarity. Lack of a decision point. So now you've got Joe Biden, who's Genghis Khan, who was born with a tight grip due to a blood clot. And you've got Vladimir Putin, who was taught by a fleet of angels on Mars how to relax his grip by going inside, feeling that fist on one side, listening to what you're being told, and go inside. And having it dawned on you that, hey, the other arm's relaxed. You guys are right. I'm not going to blow this fucking solar system up. I'm going to win, but I'm not going to blow it up. It's Vladimir Putin. From Arcturus, coached by negative, got where he was. He's here now. Self-proclaimed Russian Orthodox. Through Pravda and Учительница, his teacher, я не знаю, that's my class. Mr. McCormick, how do you feel about the book? The books were interesting. Я не знаю. But Russian got me in. Russia. You know, I focused on it in political science at Hofstra. Very liberal school. Good teachers. So anyway, it's Putin now against Biden. Have you seen Putin? Now, he admitted in a judo contest where a woman beat him. He stood up and dusted off and said, you're good. But the man knows how to, he knows judo. Just personally now, he's in the ring with Biden. It's Joe Biden against Vladimir Putin. You know, once upon a time, Putin was, bare-chested and all that photograph shit, but if you notice Putin's pictures, when he's shaking hands and where the flags are, he's always got position. And the KGB makes sure that his shit makes it into the mix for the final cut. And he's got the whole internet blocked, so they're not going to outdo that. But back to the fight. Putin will forgive him. You know, the conversation before the fight was like, well, let's not fight. Hey Joe, let's sit down for a minute. You won't believe this, but you know Tesla? Joe, you know Tesla, when you were on Mars, when Vannevar Bush was doing his thing back then. From Bellhaven Labs, Joe. Tesla shot a shot over Admiral Perry and it landed in Tunguska. I know this because we know everything. There's a great white brotherhood, Joe, and your U.S. SOCOM commander is Byron Fenton and he works with us. Oh! We got the Dyson Sphere on Mars. Mercury, did you know that, Joe? Were you so busy with HIMARS and Heimlich and Gillespie and Borat? Getting rid of Rudy? Brilliant. Joe, you're a smart man. Let's see through this. Psst. Who's on Mars right now? Come on. Give it up. This guy named Billy telling me shit. Quite a while now. Why does Nostradamus draw a picture with toilet paper around Kushner? What do you know about Kushner? Come on, Joe, give it up. You know Jupiter is a planet. You know JFK is with us. You know Tesla's with us. You know there's a rock coalition. You know Billy McCormick was on Philly Estate for Lake now, so he was doing something at 11 hours tip. Straight. It's right. Divine rights. So what are they going to do? Oh, by the way, there's a Russian Orthodox church outside the East Gate. Oh, by the way, Indigo Angel's taking all the grid down, and the Georgia Guidestone's been wrecked. And Vegan City's been wrecked. And Sierra Star was going to Machu Picchu too, and they were going one way, she was going the other, and she had a good time with her child who was teaching from the womb. Her child was teaching from the womb. Then she was a child. But she was teaching from the womb. Unless the Earth Star was just pregnant and born to be with us. She's like Miss Geneticist. She's got to be from Andromeda, or like somewhere in the Pleiades. But her and Indigo Angel, like, they did their divine feminine hookup, and then yep, away they went. Felix Hyde joined up with Indigo Angel. Then Hyde's bill went up when they were at the Vatican. So Derek Brose has been in the woo-woo of Jerusalem. Enoch. Those two, they knocked on his door, vice versa. He's still causing problems. I mean, if he's Enoch and he got Wiener's wiener and he was hypnotized on Mars and he's got a device and he's down south in Mexico and he's crying over a girl that he's torturing by telling her that she's dying right in front of her, and she's like, here I am with my white sunglasses. Sarah C. I know her personally from Wickensburg. So the Bible's closing. We're in the golden age. People are gonna die. Get ready and be ready to transform. Pass with what you know. Test over. Test complete. How'd you do on the mark of the beast? Huh? Lawyers, doctors, banks? Huh? E-currency, Earth Dollar, Denver, over to them, Rothschilds, Illuminati, call it what you want, New World Order, Klaus Schwab. That man's just in a dream state with the Draco, and he wakes up and says, hey, this is what we're doing. Because he couldn't get over the death of his sibling in a prior life as a woman. In India. Klaus Schwab. And you just have to listen to Sam the Illusionist and get clocked in. 69 and 69 equals Neanderthals. Men and women. Weren't afraid of fire. They did some soul swapping. And away they went to 27. And you've already decided if you're going to be here, what age you're going to go to and come back to. Teeth are going to grow back. We're going. DNA's unraveling. Be thankful. And don't be bored. Let's do New Earth, because it's going to unfold. I don't know if there'll be any fights. I just thought that was good for entertainment value. I'm in sales, not management. Man, it's still going. Golden arches. We're going to do something about this. I think the Chinese are going to take over and call it Shangri-La. Or the Indians will do it, and then we'll be eating porridge. Not horses, not caballeros. Alright, peace everybody. God bless those McDonald's employees, man. They're there to serve. Billions served. You know, there's billions on the planet now. We're going to 900 mil surface walkers. Be ready. Out.